Bobbo the Bashful Monster. In the little village of Whiskerwood, where the hills were covered in flowers that smelled like jelly beans and the streets were paved with candy cane stripes, lived a monster named Bobbo. Now, Bobbo wasn't your typical monster. He wasn't big or scary. He didn't stomp around or growl. In fact, Bobbo was terribly shy. Bobbo had soft, fluffy purple fur, a round belly that jiggled like pudding when he laughed, and tiny wings that were completely useless for flying. His favorite things in the world were baking cupcakes, watching the clouds, and knitting scarves. But most of all, Bobbo loved helping people, though he always did it in secret because he was too shy to talk to anyone. The village's mysterious helper, the people of Whiskerwood, had no idea who kept helping them with their daily troubles. "Who fixed my broken wagon wheel last night?" Farmer Pickles wondered one morning. "And who cleaned up all the toys in the park?" asked Mrs. Tittle, the town librarian. "Who left a plate of cookies at my door when I was feeling sick?" asked little Timmy. Nobody knew, but every time someone needed help, it seemed like a mysterious helper came to the rescue. "Maybe it's a superhero," Timmy said. "Maybe it's magic," guessed Mrs. Tittle. "It's probably squirrels," muttered Farmer Pickles. He was very suspicious of squirrels. Of course, it was Bobbo. He loved making people happy, even if he never said a word. But his secret was about to come out. The day of the big parade, one sunny morning, the mayor of Whiskerwood announced the town's annual jellybean parade. "We'll have floats, music, and candy for everyone," the mayor said. "But first, we need volunteers to help decorate." The villagers looked around awkwardly. Everyone was too busy. Farmer Pickles had crops to plant, Mrs. Tittle had a stack of books to organize, and Timmy had soccer practice. Bobbo overheard everything from behind a tree. "They need help," he whispered to himself. That night, he snuck into the town square and got to work. Using his big fluffy arms, he built the most amazing float the village had ever seen. It had spinning candy wheels, a chocolate fountain, and even a giant jellybean statue that sparkled in the sunlight. When the villagers woke up the next morning, they were amazed. Who made this incredible float, they wondered. Maybe it was the squirrels, Farmer Pickles said again, narrowing his eyes at a tree. Bobbo's big oops on the day of the parade, everything was perfect. The float rolled down the street, and the crowd cheered. Bobbo hid behind a bush, peeking out to watch. But as he leaned forward for a better look, he accidentally tripped over his own tail and tumbled right into the middle of the parade. Boom! Bobbo landed with a big, squishy bounce. The crowd gasped. "It's a monster," someone shouted. Bobbo froze. His fluffy ears drooped, and he started to back away. "I'm sorry," he mumbled, his voice barely a whisper. "I didn't mean to scare anyone." But instead of running away, the villagers started clapping. "Wait a minute," said Timmy. "You're the one who's been helping us, aren't you?" "You're the mysterious helper," Mrs. Tittle exclaimed. "You're not a squirrel," Farmer Pickles admitted, finally letting go of his squirrel theory. A hero's welcome, the villagers crowded around Bobbo, thanking him for everything he'd done. Bobbo blushed so hard his purple fur turned pink. "You're not scary at all," Timmy said, giving Bobbo a big hug. "We're so glad to finally meet you," said the mayor. "From now on, you're the official Whiskerwood helper." Bobbo couldn't believe it. For the first time, he didn't feel shy at all. He joined the parade, riding on top of the float he had built. The villagers cheered louder than ever, and Bobbo waved, his fluffy arms jiggling happily. From that day on, Bobbo didn't have to hide anymore. He became the town's favorite monster and even started hosting baking classes where he taught everyone how to make his famous marshmallow cupcakes. And whenever someone in Whiskerwood needed help, they didn't have to wonder who would come to the rescue. They knew it was Bobbo, the kindest, fluffiest monster anyone had ever met.